Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to a brand new video over on SoRare. So in today's video, what I'm going to do is go through Saturday's games and show you guys the good underdog and limited investments we've got from them. So the first thing to bear in mind is they are going to be changing up the scores for this upcoming weekend. Once again, the scores are now 45 for underdog, and actually for limited they've kept it as 40. Which is interesting because they basically widened the playing ground. Now the interesting thing is a lot of leagues actually don't play next weekend. J-League don't play next weekend. The K-League don't play next weekend. A lot of the La Liga don't play next weekend. I think like the Mexican, the Peruvian League, a lot of these leagues don't play next weekend. Which has left a lot of the investments come down to Eredivisie, MLS, and the odd league in between. So without further ado, let's go and show you guys the investments I've gone and found. So we are starting off with a player we actually went into last week, and that is Robbie Robinson. He's consistently keeping up the form. Obviously, he had a really dodgy spell there. Obviously, not even putting in one decisive, which is crazy. But he's now hit back-to-back good decisives, a decent all-round. I mean, he would have actually had a decent all-round in the last game, even if it wasn't for the decisive. So yeah, not too bad. When it comes to attackers, they are one of the, or forwards, they are one of the most, I guess, lacking position. The reason for this, obviously, if there is a good attacker, they get loads of decisives, which is a guaranteed 60. Well, obviously, we can see he went for a spell of just being absolutely rubbish. Maybe they played him like midfield or something. But, and obviously now he's starting to get them decisives in each game, and he's on a really, really good form. He's popping up at £30, which is about going rate for a forward of his ability so far in underdogs, but I do think everyone of said going rate will go up going into the deadline. Then move on to Yuba Diarra. Now Yuba Diarra is coming in with a score of 52, which is okay, but midfielders and defenders, you are really looking for a 55 and above. But yeah, just a player who's not having too bad of a score. 52, he had a really decent rise last week. Same with Robbie Robinson, by the way. He had a really good rise last week. We can see right there a decent rise there, going up to about 15 quid from 8 quid last week. Back down to 11. Obviously, in terms of value for money, that's obviously, well, I guess utilities kind of drops off a little bit more for underdogs now. The bracket is kind of widened. But the good thing for him is he should still be able to pop under the specialist. So if people are still doing the specialist, that'll be good for him. And then likewise, he's still there for underdogs. Then come on to Boatez. Boatez is coming in with a score of 56, which is pretty decent as midfielders come. He's all good for the L15. I've just done the maths a second ago. Popping up as well for about 10 quid. Not looking too bad. Now that the players are scoring quite higher, they are more expensive because they're obviously, not only do they have utility for underdogs, but they'll have utility for like All-Star, you know, obviously Challenger Europe, Champion Europe, and so on and so on. Whereas previously they were kind of plebs and weren't useful for anything other than underdogs, so they weren't too cheap. But yeah, we got the likes of Boatez right here, pulling in a score of 56 and popping up at a tenner. So a player that I've already bought 21 cards of is Manfrotto. Now the reason I've gone and bought a lot of this guy is because this guy's score is coming in at, what is it, 58.5. So sadly misses out on 59, but he gets 58. Now this guy's, yeah, pretty decent. I've gone and picked them basically all up for about £7.50. Right now it's £9.50. Inevitably, when I buy loads of cards, viewers going to buy cards. You can see that I basically bought 11 off of one person and then just bought a few sporadic ones right here. But there we go. You can see I bought them here for about £7.50 for all of them. Now, the reason I think this guy is very good is obviously a 58 is very good, especially for £7.50 for a midfielder. Oh, he's a defender, sorry. For a, well, defender isn't amazing because there are actually quite a lot of defenders. But if we go look at his scores, none of his scores are carried by decisives. And because none of his scores are carried by decisives, it basically just shows consistency. All around is consistency, decisives is inconsistency. Which, you know, should allow there to be some decent demand. Now, another thing I quite like is if I go look at him last week, look at that demand right there. Look at that. It's beautiful demand. Now, as long as this isn't like manipulation off of like just two people buying cards. This is a, actually to be honest, there is one guy buying a lot of cards, and I did actually buy a lot of my cards off that person. But you can see right there is a lot of demand, and because there was a lot of demand last week, I'm going to go and gamble that there'll be a lot of demand this week, now that his card is arguably even better in his, I guess, game realm. So yeah, we've gone and picked up 21 of him. I'll be honest, you know, if more pop up, I'm more than happy to go and pick more of him up. But yeah, as you can see right there, that means we've gone and put in about £7.50. Probably got around about 150, 160 pounds in him already. So yeah, quite confident, to put it politely, and yeah, hopefully he does pretty well. So someone who's starting to become very, very notorious in the Underdog League is Hanji Wright. And yeah, his card is and his form is literally as good as you can get with still being an underdog. Right now his L5 is about to get pushed to 66. And bear in mind there's a lack of good attackers. That is insane. His overall score is also under 45 for the L15. I've done all the maths. So, yeah, very, very impressive. And I'll be honest with you, I think he'll end up doing extremely, extremely well. I've kind of picked up 2 already for around about 30 quid. But, yeah, I mean, no one's going to come close to even getting 66 for the L5. So, yeah, very, very good card. Quite surprised he isn't more at the moment. As I say, we'll try and pick up as many as I can for around about this price. But, yeah, as I say, just absolutely dominating it. Absolutely dominating in the attack. Absolutely dominating it in, you know, just the whole of what you can use in Underdog. I think he'll do really, really well, I'll be honest with you. So I'm probably due to pick up a few more, if I'll be honest with you. But yeah, really, really nice card. Again, literally at the peak of what you can get with L15. His L5 is absolutely amazing. Putting in, you know, what is this? 5 contributions in the last 3 games and 6 contributions in the last 5. His consistency is amazing. Plays against Kenseri, I'll be honest with you, I don't believe they're the best. I think they've just come off the back of a loss, if I'm not wrong. Let's have a little look. There we go. Table, where are they? They are 12th, but yeah, Antisport are a bit higher. And yeah, again, we could imagine another bit of contribution. And bear in mind, some of those contributions are coming from Istanbul, Bakisha. They're coming from Alanspor. The other teams are... Given they are Atelier, Genespor, and where's the other one? I think there's another team in there. But yeah, so, you know, we can imagine there'll be a lot of demand for him because he just absolutely dominates in multiple statistic bases. And, you know, I can imagine there'll be a lot of demand for him going into deadline. So nice little cheap one here with Lima. Lima's coming in about £3.50. He's gone and pulled in a nice score of 52, which is decent. I'm pretty sure he actually has an L15 under 40, so he should be eligible for the limited and the underdog. But yeah, just again a nice little cheap one, just because cards are, or the investments are starting to come to £10 a piece. Nice little cheap one there for £3.20, £3.50. I've already picked up one myself. Yeah, quite easy to pick up, and again, yeah, nice consistent scores. No decisives in there, 50s all around. Again, he's just basically coming off of injury, so. Yeah, decent, nice little cheap investment. Again, not the best 52 for defenders, because again, I've shown you defenders at like 55, 56, 58. But, again, you're paying a fraction of the price. So, yeah, a slightly cheaper investment there. Bit of an interesting investment here, and that is Dejan Lujovic. Now, Dejan Lujovic pulls in a very nice score of 57. Those scores are fully carried by decisives though. Decisive score is there, decisive score is there, decisive score is there. He's also slightly inconsistent with, you know, 2 of his games being subbed on, one of them out of the squad, maybe an injury or whatever, but then starting that game. So slightly inconsistent. I can still see there being a bit of demand because, as I've shown you, very rarely have we found someone who's got like a 57 from a midfielder, but he's coming in at 12 quid. Yeah, pretty decent. Again, the problem is he's just carried by decisives. He also doesn't have a 100% L5 with obviously missing out on that DMP right there. So, against a slightly riskier one there, but, you know, just another midfielder to add to the pot. So that is going to wrap up today's episode. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have a few more investments, and there'll even be the odd game on Monday. But yeah, really, really happy with a few players. As I say, so far I've got myself 1 Lima, 2 Hanjis, 21 Manfrotto Gollers, 5 Roman Enveds, and yeah, that's all she wrote. So at the moment, very happy with the selection. Obviously, there might be a few more investments in the next days, but we still got a little bit of capital. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.